In this series that we are doing together, I've been asked to look at how Christians invest differently. When we think about investing as Christians, there are many areas that this could cover: our money, our energy, our time, our relationships, what we invest in. Beth covered money in her recent talk, so I'm not going to touch on that here. I believe that God has been speaking into my own life about what I invest in, so it didn't come as too much of a surprise when this talk was allocated to me. There are often so many demands on us. Life is full of pressures that challenge us and force us to make decisions. Often something has to be cast off, or we have to choose. There are also so many needs around us, and we come face to face with situations where we could get involved. I certainly feel this tension in my own heart and find it very difficult to say no. However, this can lead to us wearing ourselves rather thin, burning out, and then having to deal with the guilt of failure when we are forced to realise that we cannot fulfil a commitment that we made. As Christians, it can feel that there is even more pressure as we seek to live unselfish lives, give freely, put others first. All characteristics that we should be exhibiting in our new natures. So what does God want of us in this area, and what does the Bible teach that can help us to make wise choices and yet live a life that is glorifying of God and not entirely focused on our own needs? Firstly, we should invest differently because our perspective is different. As I was thinking about this, a chorus that we sometimes sing came to mind. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We should invest differently because God is worthy. Our perspective should be different. He deserves our service completely and wholly. When God sent Jesus here to earth, He invested completely in us. We read in Philippians 2, verses 6 to 8, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but he made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. He humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. Jesus put aside all his rightful glory and power and humbled himself to our human form. He demonstrated servanthood. He suffered at our hands and died a dishonourable death for us. We owe everything we are now and all that we will have in the life to come to him. Our response should be to give him our all. The world sets us a poor example. The West is obsessed with celebrity culture, the seeking after recognition. It is hard not to be sucked into this, with social media encouraging us to present an image of the perfect life to our friends. It's all too easy to believe that other people are enjoying a more fulfilling and idyllic life than we are if we follow their Instagram posts or Facebook messages. After all, who posts a picture of a bad day where everything got you down and left you feeling wrung out? As soon as we start to measure ourselves against this, we become dissatisfied and discontent. And yet, this is an illusion. Celebrities are often the most unhappy people with the most broken lives. Matthew 6, verse 33 states, "Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." This verse comes towards the end of a passage in which Jesus is teaching on the importance of not worrying about any aspect of our lives. Jesus firmly states the most important priority for our lives, seeking God's ways. The Bible promises that when we seek God's kingdom first, he will bless our efforts and provide us with everything we need day by day. What a liberating thought in such an uncertain world. Secondly, as Christians, we have a different purpose and set of priorities. Ecclesiastes, with its message, that everything is meaningless is rather good at bringing us down to earth and putting life into perspective, particularly all the things we often strive for and invest a lot of time pursuing. I used to worry about the roles I had in life, and were they really what God wanted me to be investing in? Was I in the right job? Should I be going somewhere else, doing something else? The world focuses on what we do, and there is status attached to different roles. The Bible focuses much more on our character than our role, and this is really liberating. What we do is of secondary importance to God. He is more concerned with how we do what we do. 2 Peter 1 verses 3 to 8 show us God's life goal for us. It is the development of these character traits: faith, goodness, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, brotherly kindness, and love. The development of these ensures our effectiveness and productivity, according to Peter, and should be our priority and the purpose of our lives. It is a challenge that we all face every day to put this into practice. Lots of life seems mundane, and we often feel that much of our time is caught up with doing things that don't appear important in the light of eternity. However, God has a perfect purpose for our lives, and everything that happens to us is used by Him for our good. So clearly, our moment-by-moment attitudes and responses are so important. We also need to see the obvious before us. God has placed us in our families, jobs, amongst our neighbours, in our church. There is kingdom work to invest in everywhere, and in His love and mercy, He has chosen to use us to help work out His purposes here and now. It is easier to focus on the future and what we would like to be doing rather than live in the moment and glorify God now in the mundane and seemingly unimportant aspects of our lives. But we need to learn to be faithful with every moment that He chooses to give us life and invest in developing our character. Titus 3 instructs us that as Christians we should do whatever is good, and this is why we have been saved. Paul reminds us that at one time we were foolish, disobedient, deceived, and enslaved by all kinds of passions and pleasures, but now we should be careful to devote ourselves to doing what is good. So what is good? Again, Paul helps here. In Titus chapter 2, verse 12, he states that we should live self-controlled and godly lives in this present age. Earlier in the chapter, we also learn that we must be temperate, worthy of respect, sound in faith, in love and endurance. Again, these are all character traits that we must exhibit as Christians, rather than a list of jobs we should be doing, but can be applied to every aspect of our daily living. I want to end with some lines from a poem written by C.T. Studd. You will probably be familiar with the refrain. C.T. Studd was born into wealth and privilege, but on his conversion went to serve on the mission field with Hudson Taylor. He served in China, India and Africa and founded the organisation we know as WEC International. These words are a humbling reminder of what is important in our lives as Christians. We are so bound in time and struggle to put our lives into the light of eternity. C.T. Studd clearly reminds us of the truth in this poem, and I've chosen a few of the verses to end with. 2 little lines I heard one day, travelling along life's busy way, bringing conviction to my heart, and from my mind would not depart. Only one life, 'twill soon be past, only what's done for Christ will last. Only one life, yes, only one, soon will its fleeting hours be done, then in that day my Lord to meet, and stand before His judgment seat. Only one life, 'twill soon be past, only what's done for Christ will last. Only one life, the still small voice gently pleads for a better choice, bidding me selfish aims to leave and to God's holy will to cleave. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Give me, Father, a purpose deep, in joy or sorrow, thy word to keep. Faithful and true, whate'er the strife, pleasing thee in my daily life. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Oh, let my love with fervour burn, and from the world now let me turn, living for thee and thee alone, bringing thee pleasure on thy throne. Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last. Thank you.